Hey guys, I'm Sdanwolf and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Magic Kingdom. I've been putting this off for quite a little bit because it's actually quite an intimidating little area. You would think like, Adventureland or, going around Frontierland, but really, Tomorrowland is actually pretty tough. I'm going to take a little break from Fantasyland. Like I said, if you followed me on Twitter, I got the Be Our Guest restaurant put together, and that kind of the Bell's Castle, Beast Castle kind of come out pretty cool. That whole forced perspective type of look, and started on Gaston's Tavern over here. So did get that started, but was going to peel off from that just for a little bit because, the next really intimidating, tough part is the whole Ariel's Grotto area. So definitely that's going to be tough. This whole thing I'm kind of just making tough on myself. But anyways, we are here to talk about Tomorrowland. And I was thinking, and, a lot of us have been talking about how the Tomorrowland seems like one of the toughest areas inside Disney World to recreate, and I definitely think that's true. Even down to the start of this little entrance sign right here, just kind of, it gave me some fits. I definitely had to go through some different little variations to get that going. But another thing that I thought would be pretty cool, and me, I'm really big on saving pieces from dying or dead parks. And one of those was, remember, I've essentially, for right now, given up on the Mars park, but I was able to bring in the Discovery Center. So as far as, like we always say, kind of me going in and putting my own spin on some of these lands, like, we're trying to keep it true to the entire Magic Kingdom feel, but just for aesthetic reasons and just different design aspects of this and building this in a computer game, I have to take a little bit of liberty and just put my own stuff in, and what I think will look right and what I think looks will look cool. And so one of the things of this, we knew we had to get the People Mover in for one, and you have to get the Astro Orbiter in down at the end of like the little Tomorrowland's little makeshift main street here. But as far as taking liberties of my own design, I thought there wouldn't be a big problem bringing in the Discovery Center from the Mars park, because it kind of fits with the whole Tomorrowland type idea. And so we've got the hippo up there and the alligator, and that's kind of like it's kind of a neat but also sad like Discovery Center, because I guess some people could take this as like we're showcasing hippos and crocodiles as like in Tomorrowland they're not around anymore. So that is kind of a, like a toss-up, like, do we want to look at it like that, or do we want to look at it as like maybe there's hippos and crocodiles and stuff as far as the story goes are still around, but how often do you get a chance to see those kind of creatures up close? So maybe we'll look at it like that and not as far as like they're extinct and that's why they're in the Discovery. That was more of like the Mars story was obviously the hippos and crocodiles and stuff aren't on Mars, so the essentially the Martians could get a look at Earth type of animals, but it kind of takes on a different spin when you're down here on Earth in Tomorrowland. So maybe we'll just look at it like that, like the people, you don't get to see those kind of creatures up close, and not necessarily that they're extinct and you can only see models of them in a Discovery Center. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much what I've got going on. I've started the whole entrance area. I don't know if we will bring in somebody. I haven't really looked a whole lot at the pre-built Space Mountains, but I am definitely not ashamed to get a Space Mountain back there. If somebody, I have no problem if somebody did an epic Space Mountain for me to bring it in, and if it fits back there, get it back there in the park. But I'll just kind of have to keep looking on the workshop and stuff and just and kind of see who's come up with what. And it's really cool. My duck face buddy has got these the recent planets that have been put on the workshop. Actually helped me with the with the orbiter pretty well. I mean, obviously, I don't have the little spaceship types ride, so I've kind of just kind of went with the psychosis because it doesn't kind of raise up in the air and start hitting the planet. So that is kind of just something maybe we'll just kind of have to overlook, that we don't really have a rocket ride. And actually I thought about using, let's we fly back over here to Adventureland. Spin around here real quick. I thought about using the plane ride up there that we have over here in Adventureland, but I mean, I didn't want to have to use that twice. I mean, even though I could have colored those gray, and that might have looked pretty cool having them fly around up there, I just don't know if we want to use that same ride twice. But in the plane ride's defense, they don't go up very high, so those still may miss. I could probably make those still miss the planets. Now, of course, the plane has a little bit larger footprint than the psychosis does, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to duplicate that ride when everybody can already see it's over there. But so yeah, I don't know. We'll just kind of, that's one of those things where we'll just kind of have to go back and forth. As far as the height goes, I think it might be a hair higher than I would like it to be, but the people mover height, and as far as being able to hide it and hide the entrance of it over underneath the orbiter, it just works out good as far as Tomorrowland's little main street goes. So also too, I've added these little signs over here. You've got your people mover sign, then you've got the League of Planets, then you've got the Sleepless Nights of the Milky Way. So all of that I thought was pretty cool. And you guys know this is a very early version of Tomorrowland's Main Street, so obviously I have to get the more facades going down through here and going down through Mya. So by the next time we come in, or by the next time we do part 2, I'll have Tomorrowland a little more fleshed out. May even, if I can't build a Space Mountain myself, if I can find a good one on the workshop that I think works back there. And then, of course, we've got to get the Carousel of Progress. There's a lot of little stuff. We've got to get the Tomorrowland Speedway over here. So we've still got quite a bit of work to do. So, don't lose hope. We've still got, I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to the whole Tomorrowland area, and I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, just for starting out, I haven't really messed with this a whole lot. Like I said in one of the Theme Maker review videos, I've really just kind of started jumping back on this maybe Thursday night, and here it is Sunday at about lunchtime. So I've kind of been taking my time with it. I wanted to slow down a little bit, not rush Tomorrowland, but I think you guys will really be feeling the cool Tomorrowland vibe once we get Space Mountain going. So in other news of the park, I did come in and beef up the castle a little bit. This doesn't look really much anything like Cinderella Castle, but it's kind of like it goes with the whole story of our little designs here and of putting our own little spin on things. So a lot of you were saying the castle just kind of wasn't beefy enough for the whole, for all of these lands that the park, that the castle anchors. So I think you were totally right. The park did need to be, the castle did need to be a little beefed up. So good on you guys on that suggestion. And what I also like to do for anybody that's new and maybe joining us, and shout out to all you guys, we're right at 2,500, 2,500 subscribers. Imagine that many people like in a gymnasium or in a large convention center. That is a lot of people, and that is really, really cool on you guys. So thank you for getting us to 2,500 subscribers. Really, really awesome. So for any of you new 2,500, this is our Disney World recreation. It's a Disney World recreation with liberties of my own design. So it's not a 100%, scale to scale, totally spot on recreation. But, I think anybody can appreciate how expansive and how detailed the actual Disney World is. So building it in a computer game, you've got to cut me you got to cut me a little bit of slack. I'm definitely trying my best here and to and to do the park justice. And yeah, so this is obviously our little Main Street area. So you kind of make your way down. In our version here, we've kind of got 2 hubs. So more space to watch the fireworks, I say. So you've got your main little hub out here. And then kind of once you cross the Royal Bridges here, then this is kind of like the main hub where all the action goes, and, you know, kind of like where you need to start making your decisions on which way you want to go. So if you peel off to the left, like I've said before, you make your way, let me get down here and show you the little sign, to Adventureland. So yeah, we've got the new, well, it's kind of old now. This is what the new Club 33 actual building is. So that facade in the real park actually doesn't look like this anymore. They've kind of taken away these little pillars, and they've done a lot of different work on that. But still, that was pretty cool. Oh, you know, another thing I didn't think of. Here are my little makeshift wheelchairs. But now that Rudy actually has us real 3D model imported, he did a really cool job on his wheelchairs. I might actually have to retire my little fake ones here and bring in his model and set them there, because, like I said, he did an awesome job on those. Kind of make your way past here. We got a lot of theft in the park. I'll have to address that. Make your way past little Oak Terrace here, and you come upon the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And that's to your left, but if you go over here, look off to your right, we've got the Skipper Canteen set up. Go in there and grab you a bite. Really hard, kind of tough to get in there, especially midday. And yeah, so there's our big like Swiss Family Treehouse, and I got the little attendant out here. Kind of, really, the Swiss Family Treehouse doesn't typically have anybody standing out there. Or at least the last couple times I've been in Disney World, it's kind of like, if you've never been there, it's almost like a little self-guided little treehouse thing, so you can kind of walk through it as you want. It's never too insane. I mean, you might have some times where you get up there and you have to wait, or there's a lot of little kids up there running around, but definitely not too bad. Not enough to queue up a lot of times and you can't make it up it. Now over in Disneyland, as far as the Tarzan, like their version goes, that one I've seen on like some of the Fresh Baked videos. It looks like it gets pretty packed, but our Orlando Disney World version, nah, you can you make your way through it pretty cool, pretty quick. We've got the restrooms right here. We've got the Island Supplies Sunglass Hut. And kind of making your way a little bit farther into Adventureland, you've got the Zanzibar, kind of like the little trading depot, trading company. And then we've got our little makeshift plane ride here, is obviously where the Spitting Camel and the Aladdin Carpet Ride would sit. And then over here, you've got the little Arabian Bazaar, and we've got the Adventure Landing, like a little Dole Whip area where you can stop in there and get your and fulfill your Dole Whip needs. And over here, I kind of snuck in my little Mina's Cafe because I thought that kind of fit. I know it's that like that's not actually there. This was like my little ripoff of a Black Ops 4 building, but I thought it kind of fit the whole like adventure. The whole Adventureland vibe, and it kind of ties off into taking you over into the Caribbean area where Pirates of the Caribbean sets. But first, we got to show you this too. If you look at this little sign down here, and I'm sorry about the horrible frames. I'm getting like 11 frames per second right now. Yeah, we got the Jungle Cruise set up. So if you kind of make your way down this little path over here, you can either go to Fast Pass or Standby. So yeah, we've got the whole little Jungle Cruise deal set up. And then of course you've got the little exit only please. And I didn't go 100% on the Jungle Cruise ride. Like, it's actually out here. Like, okay, yes, we've got the water and the track, but I did some crocodile animatronics. Didn't really. I figured maybe one day I could do it like maybe once we get more models or more animatronics, like, tigers and lions, stuff like that. It's coming out every day. We've already got the T-Rex by Castaway, and we've got the awesome camel, and there's all kinds of stuff like that coming out every day, but may end up doing that one day like on its own little separate map, and that will be the project. Like, okay, Sdanwolf's recreating the Jungle Cruise ride. So yeah, we'll just kind of just play that by ear and see how those models and such come out. But right now, the actual we do have the boat ride set up over here, so the little guests can come and ride that. And then, of course, if you make your way off to the right and you go past the Dole Whip building, we have got Pirates of the Caribbean set up for you. So it's all implied. It's another thing, maybe like Jurassic Park, like Jungle Cruise. May go back and actually make it one day, especially now, given all the animatronics and just the really cool stuff we have nowadays and the stuff that's coming out. So yeah, we might look into that one day, but it will be its own little standalone type of ride, probably on its own map. So what you're gazing at right now here is the whole little Caribbean area. So really went heavy with the Spanish tile roof, and this whole little area leads off into Frontierland. So really can't give enough credit to Andre is smart with his whole Splash Mountain recreation. I took it out of one of his Disneyland parks and brought it over here and was able to do all the terraforming with it, and it just looks really, really cool. Did an awesome job on the roof, and I am really, really happy with how all that turned out. And moving on further down into Frontierland, actually the end over here before you have to turn around, I've got my own little iteration of Big Thunder Mountain over here. So yeah, like it's another one of those things where I just kind of took some liberties and just kind of ran with it. I didn't want to, when you get over here and you start working on these things, you're almost like, man, it's like you forget that the rest of the park is there until everything really starts bogging way down and I can barely, click around and move and even place a pillar. So there's a lot of things on this build where I have to shorten it or not do the VFX effects. And, that just kind of comes with it when you're building these large parks over, like, say, I'm going in and just building, like I'm saying I'm going in a separate map and just building Big Thunder Mountain. Then, I could probably take my time a little more and actually do it how it actually looks in real life. But with these type of builds, I just kind of had to just make it as believable as I could, but had to leave some detail out because, like I said, the frames are really kind of already taking a nosedive on me with all of this scenery. And then once you make your way back across the bridge, back in front of Splash Mountain, you make your way down the rest of Frontierland's little town area. So we've got the Tall Tale Inn and Saloon, little sweet shop. We've got my makeshift Country Bear Jamboree. And you've got the Gold Road stage. We've got the Prairie Outpost, a little seating area. We've got the hardware store. We've got Wolf's Trading Post. And then, of course, one of my staples in the Geyser Springs Park and Wilderness Springs. I love this old, like, Western little shopping strip that I did. So it found its way over here to the Magic Kingdom. And then, of course, Calhoun's usually makes its way into any Frontier build I do. So that's just a really fun little restaurant I built long time ago. And I always want to try to find a spot for it because I just love that little piece. But yeah, then you make your way over here. If you did not decide to come through Frontierland, you can also go through the main hub and you come into Liberty Square. So this is my little makeshift Liberty Square. We've got we've got the 13 colonies. We've got all their flags. We've got Tom Sawyer Island out here, and you can, take the boat ride. And a couple of my buddies chipped in, and they built me the Hall of Presidents facade. So we've got that set up, and Wolf Tenor brought in some of his designs or sent them over to me in blueprints. So we've got the whole little colonial America vibe going on. Then I had to peel back, and if you go here to the very far reaches of Liberty Square, we've got my Haunted Mansion facade. So that's another one I want to look at one day. Kind of another thing we're seeing how the whole thing kind of plays out as far as animatronics and models and stuff go. Big shout out to Woody. I've got his Rapunzel's tower kind of peeking up over the trees there. But yeah, so like I said, like Jungle Cruise and all that and Pirates of the Caribbean, if any of those things never come about, I really want the Haunted Mansion to come about one day because it's like my favorite. I really think I've been on a lot of rides, been to a lot of theme parks, excuse me. And I think the Haunted Mansion is probably my favorite ride in the world. at least my most favorite ride that I've ever been on. So I definitely want to try to recreate that someday. Obviously in its own little park or its own little map, so we can actually, I might bring in this facade, but as far as the actual ride goes, I definitely want to do that some justice and get a good recreation out on that. Did decide to scrap the Discovery Bay area. Just didn't look right. Wasn't liking how it stood out back there. It took too much attention, from the Fantasyland area. So we've got the Pinocchio's building over there. Back here we've got, like I said, it just totally transitions over into Fantasyland, and we've got the Prince Charming facade right here that I brought in off the workshop. So big shout out to I can't think of all the names right now. I've used a bunch of different workshop items over here, but big thank you to all you guys for putting those on there. And then if you spin around this way and you kind of make your way past Pinocchio, you kind of make your way over here to, like we showed in the beginning of the video, the Be Our Guest restaurant, and all of this over here is going to finish up the whole little Gaston, little Belle, Beast area, Beauty and the Beast area, and then we have to move on to Ariel's Grotto right here. And like you guys have seen before, if you're not new, we've got the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train all set up, and it's ready to go. Just got to do some more foliage work. And then yes, I don't know, there was somebody gave me a really cool idea as far as maybe not doing the storybook circus over here, maybe do the Disneyland version and kind of do like a Mickey's Toontown type area over here. So I don't know, we'll just kind of have to see how that goes after we get done with Ariel's Grotto. And then of course, guys, like you originally came here for, the whole Adventureland area. So that is under full swing, and I'm really enjoying how the first part's laid out. Anyway, I have the same feeling as I did as I did at Adventureland, whereas it branches off from our little kind of like a spoke wheel here, kind of like Disney is, and it's fitting just like the other lands did. So I'm really happy with it. Don't see scrapping any of this, and we will just continue on. So anyways, guys, like always, leave me your thoughts and feedback on all of this we have going on, and subscribe for more Planet Coaster content, and be on the lookout for our next Theme Maker Toolkit video. And yeah, I will go ahead and jump on out of here. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.